Start streaming. We are both recording and streaming. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So this is a quick and dirty how do I make an Appengine module. We'll do a little more than a module, but how do I organize an Appengine project? So we just made a very simple folder called Hello Appengine, and nothing in it right now. I'm going to model it, just kind of build the file structure. We're going to start from nothing and kind of build out from there. So this is the whole project, and then we have another folder that's going to be Google App Engine bundle, and inside the bundle is where all our assorted modules are going to live. Before we get too far in, there's also going to be a make file, and that's just for simplifying our deployment. And all we really care about for now is we'll make one target called release. And if you haven't played with make before, it's just a bunch of targets. You'll see how these work when we call them. But our release worked. And we want at least one other, which will be something like this. Well, yeah, let's do that. We won't put anything else in there for now, just proof it works. Make release. Our release was successful, even though it wasn't. We haven't done anything with it. But let's give it something to do. So new folder under the App Engine bundle. This is going to be our first module. We'll call it default. If you don't give it a specific name, it actually just becomes your default module. But for now, we'll have a single module called default. Inside there is going to be a file that is called app.yaml. So this is the actual app itself, app.yaml. And the YAML file just defines a couple simple things. You need an application's name, and the application name in this case will be hello. We'll do hello self-commit because this needs to be unique, and there's probably not a hello self-commit. And the module is going to be default, matches our folder name. It doesn't have to, but for sanity, that's probably a good idea. It's version 1 of the API. There is only version 1 right now for Python. We're using Python 2.7 is what our runtime is going to be, and API version. That probably wouldn't work, huh? And thread safe is true. This is just very boilerplate for App Engine. Some other things that we're going to want to include in here are libraries. We'll come back to that, and then handlers. Libraries are custom things that App Engine provides for you. So if we Google App Engine Python libraries in Python 2.7, perfect, that's what I want. It's going to show us all these cool little libraries that we can get for free. I'll keep as a reminder for myself location of that. And when I'm all done, I'll post this up in a repo somewhere. But we're going to play with Web App 2. So the only thing I really need is just the Web App 2 library. And we tell that the name of the library that we want is Web App 2. And the version that we want is going to be the latest, whatever they have. And if you see that's right in the docs here, 252 or latest, your usual options. Handlers are going to describe how it handles requests. So we're going to make a very simple handler that just says any possible request that arrives at this module is going to be handled by a script, and that's main.app. So that script doesn't exist yet, so we should probably make it. And we'll make a new one called main.app. So now we get a file called main, and I don't know why I said main.app. We actually want main.py. Let's go ahead and fix that. It's interesting. I think I have a mistake in my example code that I'm working from because that shouldn't work. Let's just confirm that real quick. If we look up that guy, AppYAML, maybe they do want .app. Let's try that for now. We'll go with that. But anyway, that refers to a script which is actually going to be main.py. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. We'll get back to that. So in main.py, we're going to first import web app 2. I don't know why my auto coloring. Oh, it's because it's not on Python. There we go. Now it knows it's Python. So yeah, we're just going to import a web app, and we're going to make a very simple handler for this. I'm sure they have a good example here that we can pull from that I can point to later. Let's see, we'll go with yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we'll call this a class welcome page, which is going to be a web app 2 request handler. And if that's not clear, we're just pulling that in from the web app library up top. And now we get to do some very simple things like, say, define get, and on a get we'll do self.response dot out dot write. Hello world. And that's actually simple enough. So this is where the app comes in. We'll actually instantiate a variable called app, and we're going to say app is a web app 2.wasigi. Application, and then we have to actually put in some messy variables here. So inside this little list of things, we've got what are essentially going to be URL paths, and we'll just tell it anything that's handed to it is fine. And posts, no. And the class that it's going to call whenever it gets something to that URL is going to be welcome page. And let's try to clean that up a little. And we'll put debug equals true. So that's just a messy way of saying that any URL that's handed to this, or anything that's handed to root, rather, to the base of the page, is going to be handled by generating this class. And currently this class only has a get response defined in it. So it can respond to gets. It can't respond to posts yet. Maybe we want to make it respond to a post, and we could do that by just doing post. And then on a post, it'll do self response.out.write. You made a post. This is the simplest, probably, maybe somebody wrote a simpler one, simplest Appengine app ever. But I think we have all the needed pieces for a very simple one. So now we're done, right? No, we need to actually test it somehow. So if we go back to our command line in here, we have makefile, and I did say we're going to use the makefile earlier, so we're not ready to release yet. So what if we had a test target? And we'll say in our test target, we want to spin up an instance locally. So the command for that would be, if we wanted to just spin it up locally, it would be dev app server py, and it wants to know what we want to actually spin up. So Google App Engine bundle and default. And I have bad things in my code, so let's see what happened here. Unable to assign to attribute application. Application does not match expression. Google action app.yaml line 1 column 14. Oh, okay, so it looks like I gave it a bad name. So if we call it self-commit hello, that should be valid. Let's see if that works. Cool. So this says that we're serving, and we're serving at this address. That's the server admin. But if we want to see the module itself, and we'll look at each of these, I can just grab this. Look at that. Hello world. We're actually serving our app. Now this is one of the cool things you get with Appengine. If we want to go to the admin console for it, we can do something like that, and we get all the cool little backend stuff that we would get as if it were running live, and we could get a real deep look at our app, but this runs locally, so you don't need to worry or care if you have internet access, or if you get the full build environment right locally on your machine. But this works, and we can even test our post and see if that's done correctly. If I pull up paw here, okay, go away. And so if I do a new paw file, and this is the address that we want to give paw, and we are going to do a post, not a get. This should be super simple. You made a post, so you can see our response is 200. It's a post. Yay, that's good. It works. Our little server's confirming that it's working. Awesome. Let's make it a little more complicated. So let's build another module, and we'll have this other module just tell us that it's different. You know, it's not the same module. We'll call it maybe this module multiplies numbers, or just doubles things. Whatever. Kind of a weird task for a whole module, but whatever it's handed it. What's that? Generate. Oh, okay. There you go. Even better. I like that. We'll make it randomer. We'll call it rando. So we've got a rando module, and just like before, we've got to make an app YAML, and it's going to be the same thing, app.yaml, inside this module's folder. So that's, again, that file that it looks for to define that it is a module. And this time the module is going to be called rando, and we will have version 1, Python, awesome, web app, perfect. And I'm going to leave this the same. And that may seem strange. How can both modules accept everything? But that's on purpose. And this is where it gets really fun and easy, because I can almost reuse all this code. So again, we're going to do the same thing, and it's going to be main.py. And then same deal, app is going to be the end result, but it's not a welcome page. This is going to be a random number, which is just going to be a web request. And let's say if on a get, Python, what's the Python library for random numbers?
Have it return 4.
Oh, that's no fun. Python random numbers. Isn't 17 like the most random number that you can get? I read something about that the other day. Oh, it's random. Import random, random.random, and then we'll say number equals random.random, and it returns a number. So on a get, it returns a number, and on a post, let's do something complicated, where we're going to take in a number, and we're going to multiply that number that we receive. So we'll say that the number we get in a post is going to be equal to self.request.get. And we'll call it number. So it's expecting a value of number in the post, and then it's going to say now number will be equal to, we'll say new number equals number plus random dot random. You'll never know what it adds together. And then the output's going to be our new number. So every time you should get something back that's different. Now we're just going to change this a little bit. Random number. All right. Looks good. Looks easy enough. So now we've got this. Let's actually grab that and put that in our makefile because, and this will explain how we set up the makefile and why we do it this way. We'll call default this. So that actually instantiates default, or rather, like spins up default. We're going to make another target for rando, and that's going to spin up the random module, or rando, I guess we called it. And actually both these things. Yeah, so let's structure it this way. We'll have a single target called test that does these things. Test spins up both of those. And we're going to add one more thing, which is why we needed two files called the dispatch file. This is going to go top level with the make file. And we'll have a new file called dispatch. And what dispatch YAML includes is just a line that says dispatch. And we'll include some nice documentation on how this works. If anyone's ever curious. And we have a URL field called that says basically anything that gets dumped to the root is going to go to the module called default. And actually, we don't need to do that. So let's leave that out, and I'll explain why we need to do that. But we'll have one just for URL that goes to anything pointed to /random is going to go to the module rando. So we've only got one thing defined in our dispatch. And then when we're making a dev setup, we're going to add this. So we can just put spaces after each module that we want to include, and the last thing we include is dispatch.yaml. And let's see how badly I've typed this. So we could do this two ways. If I just grab this entire line by itself and copy and paste, that should spin things up. Oh, there's a problem. Line 3, column 10 on my dispatch file. And oh, yeah, so it's not valid. Random including anything before and anything after. Yeah, that should be good. And let's try that again. Module in dispatch, missing required value module on line 4, module. Oh, indentation error on my part. Awesome. So here's what's a little different now. Now you notice that we have two modules starting. And we have two modules starting because the command that we entered to start it was dev app server Google App Engine bundle default Google App Engine bundle rando, and then dispatch. So it started the two modules, and you always want to do dispatch last because you need to make sure the other two modules are running before dispatch comes up. So dispatch is up, and I don't really care to look at rando or server. The only thing I actually care about is going to be dispatch, and our dispatcher is running at 8080. So that's now really kind of the root of our site. So this is where we were before anyway, 8080. If I refresh, we're still getting hello world. And if we watch what's going on in the log here, we see that it's getting directed to default. Even though we don't have anything in dispatch saying to direct it to default, that's okay. What dispatch says is direct things to these modules. If you don't know what to do with it, send it to default. So what we can do now is if we append random to the end, the dispatcher is going to take over. The dispatcher realizes, it's random, so I'm going to pass it to the random module, which is going on right here. And as we see, it's returning a random number for us. Yay. And if I fumble with paw for a moment, we'll see that if I post, it should actually. Yes. I like paw. It's a good. So. Paw random, we're going to post to there, and let's see, body parameters, no. It's going to be a header, I think. Number, we'll send 5. And post, is that what it's looking for? No, it's not what it's looking for. Cannot truncate string and float objects. Womp womp. So if we go over here, cannot truncate string and post. Well, let's do, or rather, yeah, it's not. We'll turn that into that, and it's a number. It's coming in as a string. I'll turn that into, or yeah, not string. I want int. We'll just force that. Yes. Invalid literal for int with base 10. Okay. Still doesn't like it. All right, this is no longer about Appengine. This is making this shitty code work. So let's just do this. Let's just try that much and see if that's broken. Invalid roll for base 10. New number.
What is in number?
All right. Let's see our response. Raw is 200. Okay, shouldn't I be getting back new number? New number is just number.
I would guess that you didn't set it. You didn't get the parameter correct in there somehow.
I think you're right. So maybe it should have been a body option rather than a header.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that would make sense.
Or URL parameter.
Oh yeah, maybe URL. Let's try that. And we'll say.
I don't know how to use pause.
So. I've tripped over this before. I should have known it was going to be a problem. Let's try that. Kill that. URL parameter. Yeah, it's URL parameter, definitely. So let's post. Oh yeah. Let's give it the one it's expecting. 5! Boom. So now we realize the problem wasn't in my code.
Now it's back. Now your error is back.
No, it worked though. It worked. Here, ready? So we do this, and post. It's always what I send it. Why? Because it's turning an int out of that. But
which is ridiculous.
Let's see what that does. Random takes, no arguments. One was given. I was hoping I could just, uh,
You multiply it by what you want.
yeah.
Love that.
There we go. Excellent. I can computer science, and so can you. But okay, cool. So we got two modules. The dispatchers handing things off between them. This is fun, and things that we should point out and be aware of in here are the app YAML in this case. The handler is only one handler. It will take anything that it's given and just pass it off to main.py. So in this scenario, we could describe through regex exactly what we want to be handled by different classes if we had multiple classes and multiple URLs. We can do the exact same thing in the app YAML here for default and just basically tell it, look, just take whatever you're given and we'll sort it out in main.py. This is probably not best practice, but I think it's cool. But and we let the dispatcher decide if it should go to default or if it should go to a particular module. Why is all this cool? Because you can now very easily work inside the same project that has access to all the shared information that Google can provide for if you use NDB, which is their database entity system. All these modules can share all those different database objects, but still be completely kind of separate and standalone on their own. Now let's just close up by looking at why we started with this silly make file. So if you wanted to just run the dev server, this is a lot to type and kind of a pain, and I wouldn't want to deal with it. So that's why we put it in here. And now we can just do make test. And look at that, it does exactly what we expect it would do. Awesome. We'll cancel that for now. And the last thing is, how do we take this and make it a real thing, right? A live thing. So to deploy, you always need a build version number. So we're going to say so the modules actually always have a version number built in, but this will supersede that, so we'll make that 2. And then we're going to use this command called Appengine from UI, blah, 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 update. And for rando, it would be Google App Engine Bundle / rando. And again, same thing for default. Cool. And now if we wanted to deploy all these things, it would look like this. Oh, and dispatch is its own special thing too, so let's just add a dispatch line. So these particular ones are all describing what our live one is going to look like. Update dispatch for a given project, and the project's name is going to be, what do we decide on? Self-commit-hello. Let's hope that project doesn't exist yet. And what happens on release is we do default, target test, target dispatch. And when we run all these things in a row, then our release is successful. Yay. If any of these things break or throw an error along the way, our release will not work out. Oh, yes, I did. I did miss rando. So test and rando. So actually, I don't need test because this is just default rando dispatch. Test is when we're working locally. Again, it's a very simple makefile, but it makes it so that our deployment is consistent, and you can see how this could easily be worked into a continuous integration system of some kind. But let's make sure that we have that application available. So we have to go to cloud.google.com, hop into a console, and we are going to make a new project, and we're going to call it self-commit-low, and project ID will match. Excellent. And it's spinning it up. No errors yet. That's good. Oh no, it's unavailable. That's strange. It seems to have let me. Okay, it just wasn't entirely ready. There's an error on their side. Great. So we've got a project. Everything seems to be in order. So let's try and release. So if we do make release, what happens? Okay, it claims my app is serving and that it's up. I wanted it to fail horribly and it didn't. So there was one thing I wanted to point out. Yeah. Before we actually do a release, we should probably set our project. And you do that with the gcloud tool, gcloud config set project, and it's just going to be the name of your project. So I was expecting that I was in a different project and it was going to be very upset about that. So if we do self commit hello as the set project, and we'll make the very first thing we do before we do any of those targets set project. And yeah, so that would just set the project if it wasn't what we expected it to be. So what happened? Did this work? Now if we refresh the page and we go to deployments, Appengine, instances. Yeah, it says there's two modules, default and rando, that we defined earlier that are up here. It's version 2 that I arbitrarily picked, although a better versioning system might be like, I don't know, the last digits of the Git version, the version of the Git repository that you're using, or the hash of the Git repository. But it says it's up. It says it has no instances deployed, but we have versions and we have default. Let's look at that. There we go. So now live is, we noticed self-commit-hello.appspot.com, which is what our app was, and that returns hello world as we expect it to. And if I go to random, well, we get random numbers. So we went from playing with two little modules, spinning them up, and now they are live, and they're consistently live, and they're consistently changeable. The exact same code works locally and remotely. I think that's pretty awesome for what? How long have we been recording? 30 minutes, maybe? Yeah, about 38 minutes. So yeah, so that's Appengine 0 to 2 modules with a dispatcher.